Oh, you know what'd be fucking funny? Is if like, you know, did you ever as a kid watch All That?
Yeah.
Like, if you're like, oh, and they're like fucking jumping up, like. Yo, what's up, people? Back again at it, Flexed&Blessed TV, Justin Sims.
Jason Carr.
We're gonna take you through a back routine today, so go ahead and back up, check this out.
Back in particular, based on my experience, is something that a lot of people have a lot of trouble with, just because you can't really see the muscles working. They have a hard time working their back. Really one of my favorite days, just because there's so many different muscles in your back, so many different exercises you can do. So we went ahead and started with kind of a modified rack pull. It was, I would say a rack pull, except that typically I would do a rack pull from kind of about knee level, maybe just above my knees. Today we decided to go from a little bit lower. We were getting a bigger range of motion, starting from about the middle of our shins, probably is where I would say.
Yeah, the chin level.
Yeah, and you'll see.
Probably not the marks to show it.
As you can see, we're pulling these. We got the bar on the rack. It's set at about mid shin level. We're pulling these. The bar's staying real close to our body. One thing, we're trying not to let the knees come too far forward. You can see that we're really kind of sticking our hips out, sticking your butt out, sticking your glutes out basically, so that you're really keeping the weight on your heels. This is an exercise that's working the back, but you don't want to put a lot of unnecessary stress on your lower back. One of the reasons we like to do it from the rack, especially on a back day, is because you're really taking out some of the action you're getting from your hamstrings and your glutes. You're taking out some of that work and you're really emphasizing the part of your exercise that's working the back. You can see that as we're doing this exercise, we're really working the whole mid to upper back region really well. And by starting a little bit lower than just above our knees, we're actually getting a little bit more of the mid back and not just the upper back. When you start about your knee level, you'll get more of just the upper back. Rack pulls, we moved into some hammer strength rows, or some machine rows, some plate loaded machine rows. Here, one thing that's kind of nice about doing some of the back work on a machine is that you don't have to worry about being as strict on your form, and you can go a little bit heavier. Here you can see we started out pretty light, but eventually just really stacked on the weight as much as we could. We started out with using 2 arms at once for some of the lighter weights, and as we got into heavier weights, we went 1 arm at a time. A little bit stronger usually when you're going 1 arm at a time.
Yeah, exactly. And just to kind of reiterate what he was saying as far as using the machines and how you can go heavy, there's a lot of people out there that'll actually do 2 different types of back workouts, and I think it is primarily because you can go very light and you can get a lot of reps on the machines and really focus on the detail, but then you can go very heavy to make sure that we're overloading the muscle to kind of focus on the thickness.
So after we did those machine rows, guys, we moved into an exercise that I had never done before. Justin showed it to me. He'll tell you a little bit about what it was.
So we don't have a name for it currently. If you want to call it the Justin row, totally fine with that, or the Justin pull. But
the Flexed&Blessed pull.
Yeah, there you go. Actually, yeah, the Flexed&Blessed pull. There you go. So if somebody stops you in the gym and asks you what you're doing, let them know that you are doing the Flexed&Blessed pull on the back. Anyhow.
Yeah, so like I said, guys, I'd never really done this exercise before. Justin showed it to me. But actually, I really liked it. You get a really good stretch through the back and through the lats. Then you're able to get a really good contraction.
What we're doing really here is really coming up, getting a stretch. You'll see us sitting on a dumbbell. Coming up, it allows us to kind of overextend and elongate the muscle here so that we're getting a nice good stretch in the back, coming back all the way, rocking through and getting a good squeeze. A lot of times with muscles in general, but with back, you really want to focus on really stretching out that muscle fascia, which in short is the fibers that surround the muscle that allow the muscle greater capability to grow.
So after we wrapped that up, we went over to the hammer strength rows, pulling from up high, kind of pulling down. And once again, another one of those exercises where we we were on a machine. We were able to just kind of go as heavy as we could. As you can see, we started out doing 2 arms at a time, and then eventually moved to just 1 arm at a time as we got heavier.
And so it's another good one. Most people will have that machine in your gym. If you don't have it, there's numerous ways that you can simulate a similar exercise. If you don't happen to have the hammer strength there, you could also use the lat pull down machine and put an individual handle on and stand, maybe put your foot on the seat and pull this way. It's the same exact motion. You'd have to do it individually the way that we did once we got heavier doing the single arm row. But it's targeting the same area of the muscle. So, and then from there we wrapped it up with a traditional bent over row. You can talk about that.
Yeah, so the bent over rows, you can see, bent over rows, it's really important that you have good form here because you put a lot of stress on your lower back, especially with that weight kind of hanging out in front of you. So as you can see, we're really careful about keeping the weight kind of on our heels. Our knees aren't coming too far forward, and we're really kind of sitting back with our hips, and that helps us kind of keep the weight centered over our hips, and rather than letting our lower backs kind of support the weight. You can see that as we row, the bar is staying real close to our bodies. We're keeping it right up against our legs, and pulling right kind of towards the waist. Really emphasizes the lats pretty well. You can see we're also trying to keep the elbows in nice and tight. As your elbows kind of flare out more, you'll hit more of the rhomboids and more of the lower back, and really trying to hit the lats with this exercise.
Yeah. And we did go relatively heavy on this. This is also something that I wanted to touch on as far as back and really any muscle group. There are certain lifts that you want to go heavier on and certain ones that you don't. When we're talking about compound lifts like a bent over row, you can go heavy on it. Like Jay said, you do want to make sure that your form is good because you can put a lot of stress on the lower back. Now that being said, when we're saying going heavy, you need to understand that that's relative to what is heavy for yourself. Okay.
Yes.
Because you may see somebody else doing an exercise and try to do that exercise, but if you're not on the same page strength-wise, you could very well hurt yourself. So do heavy. We're looking for a rep range. I don't think at any point today I counted reps. Did you count reps today?
No, I'm not. I mean, maybe out of just pure instinct.
Right. So
I was never shooting for a specific rep range. I think that's what you're getting at.
Right. So I mean, you kind of know as far as kind of going up in weight. Obviously, the reps are going to decrease. But I think for the most part, out of all of the exercises that we did, we at least got about 5 reps on.
Right. I was gonna say I don't think we really counted reps, but we knew that once we got to a certain point where we weren't gonna be doing more than maybe 5-6 reps at a time, we knew that was probably the heaviest we were gonna be able to get. Didn't want to try to get to the 1, 2, or 3 rep range.
Good. So Flexed and Blessed TV, thanks for tuning in. Remember to subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, hit us on any of the social media platforms. Instagram is up now. Facebook, check out any of the videos that you haven't seen. There's a shoulder one up. If you haven't seen that one, check out the shrug video. Much love.